Hey guys, welcome back for another Trekyards Top 10. I don't even know what we're doing today. Samuel, you're
Yes.
always the one in charge of this. What are we
Uh,
doing today?
Top 10 phasers. Now, we've done the rifles, which was a lot of fun. Now, this is the phaser hand phasers. I think we're sticking to Federation, I think. Are we?
I don't know. Are we?
I thought we are. But, yeah, top 10 phasers. And this is always a fun one because I'm the guy that likes to have all the props. And I do actually have all of my list. Or collectively in this house we do. But my number 5, I've been trying to find for a long time, because we've been trying to film this for a long time, but I still can't find it. But I do have my number 5. But it's your list first, so I'm excited to see what you have.
All right, so first off, we got... I can't even use this because it's a disruptor.
It's a disruptor, yeah.
It's nice, though. You got to admit. It don't phase me, though. It don't phase me that I can't use that.
This disrupts your...
It don't phase me, bro. It just disrupts my flow. That's exactly right.
Perfect.
Anyway, so number 5 for me is going to be the Star Trek II Wrath of Khan phaser.
Okay.
Very interesting design. We didn't see one in the motion picture, so
No.
this, I don't know if they made for the motion picture, this prop, because it kind of suits that whole armband communicator style.
It really does, far more than the regimented style of the later films.
Yeah. So, interesting design. Not really my favorite, but, you know, it at least made the list because it is very cool and it's kind of got some great features, especially this little Art Asylum prop, which I'm not going to turn on because then it gets all loud and buzzy and Samuel complains.
And it is still kind of futuristic, which is cool.
Oh, absolutely. Number 4 would be the Nemesis phaser, which, alas, I do not own because I don't have any TNG phasers because I'm a bad boy. But it's the sleekest version of the TNG style phaser or hand phaser. I think it's a great progression as far as phasers go for them, and I think it's the nicest looking one out of all of them. I don't know what you think about that. It'll probably be on your list, so I get to hear that later, I guess.
You will indeed. That's how this show goes.
All right, number 3 for me is another one I don't have, but it's one of my all-time favorites because it's in the top 3 after all.
Yeah.
And that's the Star Trek VI Assault Phaser. That they kill all the Klingons with.
Which are in the mess hall. Just on the wall.
Well, yeah, it's got to have them everywhere, just in case.
Just in case, yeah.
But it's an amazing looking phaser. It kind of reminds me of like a modern day Uzi, that kind of style with the longer clip and kind of the cooler, the vented holes at the front to kind of cool it. I don't know. It's amazing looking phaser. I wish I had one. I need to pick one up at some point.
You do. You really do.
Art Asylum you have one, don't you, bastard?
So you haven't got TNG or late TOS. You've only got call yourself a fan of phasers.
All right, so number 2 on my list I actually do have.
Okay, good.
And that's the Star Trek III phaser, which is a beautiful redesign of the TOS. This should have been in Star Trek II as far as I'm concerned, but I don't think they had this design implemented by that point. Yeah. But it's got the phaser one that's detachable. It's got a very nice sleek look, and it carries on the original aesthetics from the TOS.
That's interesting, because I would call it more clunky than sleek.
I disagree.
I mean, the lines are sleek, but just it's got a clunky feel. If they had like shrunk the elements down, especially the Type 2 phaser, I think it would look better.
I totally disagree with you, which is a pretty common thing over here at Trekyards. Anyway, so no, I definitely like it. It's a nice progression from TOS, which brings me to my number 1.
The Dustbuster from TNG.
Yes. How'd you know?
I'm good at what I do. Oh, yeah.
No, of course it's the TOS original aesthetics.
My dad will be happy.
Of course he will. Your dad's a man of great taste. So this is my favorite. This is a nice progression of my favorite.
And 3 is the Star Trek 6, which is the evolution yet again. So you got your top 3 are the evolution in time. Yeah,
but I think the Star Trek 6 phaser is actually, it's called the Assault Phaser. I think it's actually a heavier duty.
Yes. But it's still an evolution of the same design, though. It still has a phaser 2, and it still has all the same elements. Just
it does have a phaser 2. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Ooh. Yeah, learn something new every day. But no, TOS is my favorite by far because it's the classic look, the silver and the black. You know, Dax would like it. So
Dax did like it.
That is my list, and we've been waiting a while to make this list. This list has been on my desk for months while you look for that phaser. That's your number 5.
Speaking of my number 5 phaser, which I did buy, I do have, it is somewhere. I think it's over there somewhere, but I haven't got it. My number 5 phaser, Star Trek phaser, is the 29th century phaser. The pointy one. First, yes. But yeah, 29th century phaser is a very interesting design. How do you push the tech another few hundred years? And I think they did a great job. It is stylistic and cool, and we can see in the show that it can disintegrate a van with no problem. Although so can older phasers. So how do you really go more advanced? But still, a cool design. And we got to see it a couple of times, and it always sort of stood out. And I like all the 29th century stuff. You guys know that. I just think it's a really cool, different sort of phaser, which I do own. So, my number 4 is the Voyager Boomerang phaser. She is a classic and almost was my third choice. I really like the design, although one of my friends once called it a TV remote. And I do see that. But come on, it's so Star Trek. I think it does speak to design though, because this is the last version, bar the Nemesis, that you see in the shows. You got the original TNG one, you got the Dustbuster, you got all the ones. It just shows that this is the epitome, because it just keeps getting smaller as electronics get smaller, as parts get smaller. And I think this is the epitome of that design. And come on, I think it's a definitive version, because we see it in Voyager, we see it in TNG, and the TNG movies up until Nemesis, the super sleek one. I just think she's a perfect combination of function and look, and just a great tool. I mean, it's simple. You just do the buttons and then you fire. I like that, everyone's got the gun style, but I like it. Who would have thought to go for that sort of style? I think it really works. Iconic in my mind. That's my number 4. My number 3 is the Mako Pulse Phaser, the E33 Pulse Phaser. Hence, I love it. That's why I bought one. All the Mako kit is great, which is also why I have a Mako rifle, which we saw in the previous episode. Come on, it's sleek, advanced, and dynamic. It's very effective as a combat weapon, even in its first appearance. Even in its first appearance as an Enterprise pilot, it showed it had some teeth. But when it really came back as a Mako pistol, it showed its true ability. I always think of it as the workhorse of that era, kind of the Colt 1911 style pistol at the time. Just it's very reliable, very good. But just stylistically, I think it's really interesting design. Lots of pieces. I just think it's really cool. Although it's bigger in person than you think. But yeah, I think it's just a really cool pistol. So that's why it's my number 3. My number 2 is the TOS phaser, because it is a classic. And it's not a ray gun. It's not cheesy. It is functional and versatile. And it is aged very, very well, considering. And I know we're all a bit biased, but I still think she looks good. I love there's a Type 1 and a Type 2 phaser. I love all the details. The many, 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 many settings you can put her on. That's kind of ridiculous. You can go from warming up Brox to disintegration. You can really do it all. A great design, and when we got to see her again in Into Mirror Darkly, filmed with a newer style of tech, she still felt advanced, and that is a real hallmark of a true amazing design. She still looked advanced. So that's my number 2. My number 1 is the fake drum roll. Is the Star Trek 6 phaser. It's the most kick-ass phaser. It is sleek and elegant. It has cool and slightly vicious sound effects. It carries over the Type 1, Type 2, and you ask where that was. When you open this segment, there's a Type 1 phaser in there. Never got to see it, but it was part of the design. Not the best looking Type 1, but it goes in the hole. Just carries all the best elements of the TOS phaser into this one. Like all small designs, I like the fact that you can change a clip much more militaristically, I suppose, and just the overall shape. It's an assault phaser though, and I wish this had been the main phaser of the TOS films, or at least we'd seen more post Star Trek 6 films with this phaser, because it's just such a cool design. Not underused, but such a cool design, and should have been used more. And I used it quite heavily in my own web stuff before now, so it kind of has a special place in my heart as well. So yeah, Star Trek 6 phaser.
Yeah, see, this is another top list of mine where the top 3 kind of interchange depending on. Now that I'm actually seeing yours, and it's like, ugh. Damn talking phasers. But yeah, I don't know. See, it depends on what I'm watching. Sometimes I just love the look of this one. Sometimes it's my favorite phaser. Sometimes this one, and sometimes, well, yeah. Anyway,
I get that. I mean, I was it's kind of a strange one to put this one so... Don't shoot me. To put this one so high, but I just think, yeah, I mean, they're all so classic, so it's difficult. And this is the most iconic, but at the same time, I mean, just the pure design, you know, it is basically the same weapon, but just tactical. This is not meant to be tactical. This is just a almost rudimentary weapon of an officer. This is a tactical piece, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it has the extra advancement. Anyway, what is your honourable mention, Stuart?
My honourable mention, funny enough, is the phase pistol from Enterprise.
Ooh.
Which, actually, looking at your Star Trek 6 phaser, shares a lot of the design characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they use that one as an inspiration, but it's kind of like the both ends of the spectrum as far as time scale goes, which is interesting. This one's neat. I just love the fact that you can pull out the power supply.
Which is probably a holdover from the Nemesis style, because in the Nemesis phaser you can pull it out and there's a little lighting rig as well.
Yeah. Plus it's very comfortable to hold. It's nice and compact. It's only got 2 settings.
Yeah.
Stun and kill. Which is kind of odd. It should have some kind of disintegration, you would think, but I guess it was an early technology, so. But yes, this is my honorable mention, Enterprise.
I do have one of those as well, and it is a good phaser, but it's sort of bland. Like, it's cool, but it's still bland. But it's still cool. It's a weird one. My honorable mention is this one, Star Trek 2/3, because there is a reason I put for it. It's an interesting design. I think it's just... I mean, it's a very different direction. I love that you said it should have been motion picture. I absolutely agree. Yeah. Just the colour palette alone is motion picture. And it does feel that sort of bigger, more robust feel of the motion picture design. Like, you know, this has got the rounder curves of TOS. This has got the more rectangular curves of motion picture. That in itself makes sense. So I can definitely see this as being... Actually, that's kind of clever. Yeah. But I think it does age a bit. This design does feel more 80s and a bit less Trek. Like, you can see this being a Flash Gordon design, or you know, it's not as much Trek, but it's still it's still interesting. That's why it's my honorable mention. Type 2 phaser.
Plus, the detachable phaser is very comfortable to hold.
I didn't know this had that.
Oh, really? Well, there you go. Huh. It's also very similar to the original TOS as far as design goes for that. So, very cool addition. But it's the whole front of the thing, eh? It's the whole front of the phaser.
Wow, did not know that. Crazy. Yeah. Nice.
Learn something new every day, especially watching Trekyards.
We always do. So any thoughts on my list, or on are you surprised? I'm not surprised by your list. I did see TOS. I thought you'd have a TNG phaser in there. We did have the Nemesis one, which I'm surprised about, because for me the Nemesis one is too small. Like, I have held one, and it is... I mean, there's a point when sleekness becomes too sleek. Like, you wouldn't want a phone that is just so super small. They just become... Like
Derek Zoolander's phone.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I don't know what...
Your list surprised me. I expected the Nemesis phaser to be on your list for sure. I didn't expect the Mako one. But it's kind of... I don't know. It kind of looks like a water gun. Looks like a Nerf... or a Nerf gun, or some kind of super soaker design. With that ball on the bottom, it just looks like a water reservoir.
It's the most gun out of all of them. Like... It's basically just a gun. But, I mean, I don't know.
But see, I could see that in any science fiction franchise, not necessarily...
Oh, no, sure, yeah. It doesn't scream Star Trek. That's because it's meant to be a military pistol from the 2070s, which is so... You know, it's not even a phaser. It's just firing pulse blasts. But in terms of design, like, I love this elegance. I love the fact they've got these little points. Like, there's so much good design to it.
Stop pointing that at me.
I was pointing that at the audience. You're over there.
Oh.
I have to hold it. Okay, now I can... There you go. Right. Now, everyone, watch other top 10s.
Yes, go. Watch Trekyards.
Watch all of Trekyards if you want, or if we're telling you to. But yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed this Trekyards top 10. We're waiting a long time to do it, and you guys have asked for it for a long time. But we have all the props, so we had to wait until we had at least most of them. But yeah, good list, Stuart. I'm not surprised. I'm glad you were a TOS fanboy there, and I liked your intro with the Klingon Disruptor. We should do an alien weapon at some point, shouldn't we?
I think we should.
Yeah. Anyway, that is it for Trekyards Top 10. Tune in next week for another awesome Trekyards Top 10, as you expect every week. So until then, this is Commander Cockings.
And Captain Foley.
See you next time.